Hey everyone, welcome to today's little vlog of what I'm doing. Today's June 1st, and this was the hottest day of the year so far. We got to 95 here, which is not a good thing. I mowed the lawn today. I usually would say not to mow a lawn on a day like this. I know when I used to do that as a job, mowing people's yards, I used to tell people if it was like above 85, I'd recommend not doing it. It was a good thing for me too, because a lot of times they would agree, because I didn't want to do it in that kind of heat. But when it's this hot, the grass will burn if you mow it. So I mowed it anyways because tomorrow is supposed to rain, and I don't think it'll burn because of that. Well, today I'm going to talk about a few things. First off, with the garden, you see, I got this trail camera right here. I'm not mowing around that one spot. It's staying exactly where it is all summer so we can get a nice time lapse of this place growing. So, out of all the tomato plants I got over here, so far only one of them died despite this being a very hot week. I only had to replace one of them, and there's a couple more replacements. I have it kind of categorized. The first 3 rows right here, which are 12 of them, are cherry tomatoes. Then you got 8 big beefs, and then you got another 8 Morrow Globe tomatoes. Over here in this section, I think the lettuce is already coming up. What do you guys think? Is that lettuce right there? Those little tiny things? I know I put way too many seeds. They're just so small, but I think that's lettuce already starting to come up on the edge of the mound where it was more shallow. Yeah, well, we should have a lot of lettuce. They will probably overcrowd and I will have to pick a bunch of them. But lettuce grows fast. You don't have to pick the whole thing like you buy at the store. You can just keep breaking pieces off, put it in your salad, and it will continue growing. Yeah, I have way too much lettuce. I know that. I am just going to feed it to things. I'm sure the tadpoles will like that, but I'm sure they'll be developed probably into frogs by then. I got a couple strawberries out of that plant over here. Nothing as far as the, what do you call them, cucumbers and zucchini has died yet. See, these these 2 right here look like they're okay. They will get a chance if more of those die, which I think might be probable, but they look kind of stable. They're not wilting, but they also don't look like they're doing great. This right here is a yellow one. I haven't planted the one I bought yet because one of my ones I grew myself in one of my potted planters looks like it's gonna die. It's still holding on, but once it turns yellow, that'll replace it. I do think it's gonna die, but I'm still giving it the chance. I gotta come over here and water. Yeah, this just got baked. Look at it. I think that'll survive though. These, you can tell, are still wilting. Well, the new growth, that it actually started growing this out in the yard. The stuff from inside the house is what's wilting. Right here, has any of this started coming up? It doesn't look like it. But this right here is my asparagus. 2 of them died, but I don't know what's going to happen. Those things in the garden might just be weeds. There's no way I planted lettuce in here, and that's the same thing. No, so it's probably not lettuce. It's probably just whatever coming up. But I think lettuce grows so fast it'll beat it. And I'm watering those little things with just this because I don't want to disconnect the hose that's on a timer. I'm actually giving it an extra hour now. This garden's timer doesn't kick in until 8. And it's like 5:30 right now. I'm giving it a chance. And then I'm going to hook the sprinkler timer back up and it'll get a second watering just because it's so hot. Now over here against the actual fence, you see this result? I sprayed with the pump sprayer this whole side. Look at it, it's turning brown. Completely natural. That's white vinegar from Walmart. It's cheaper than most herbicides, and in certain spots, you don't want to use strong chemicals. But I must say, you see this one type of grass is a little different. Certain types of grass can survive vinegar. I won't use it near the garden where I'm trying to grow food, but Roundup, I did use a little of that right against the house. I hate weed whacking, honestly. So, like 1 foot from the base of the house, I just sprayed vinegar a couple days ago. Didn't do much with whatever kind of grass is growing near the house, so I gave it a quick round of Roundup. Roundup, you gotta wear a respirator. Or at the very least, if you don't have one and you just have to use it, but there's no reason you just have to use it, wear a mask. But even a mask, particles get around it, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, so here's what I'd used around the garden, and it had a good result. Just keep in mind there are certain things that this won't kill for whatever reason, even after multiple rounds. But for the most part, it works good, especially cracks in your driveway. If you're using it near wildlife or anything like that, definitely use this instead of the actual herbicide that's over here. Yeah, this one is known to cause cancer. That's why it has warnings on the back of it. Wear a mask. And they're actually going to change the formula of this, I heard. They're discontinuing this type of Roundup, I think, this year. Now, Roundup and this stuff here, they have the option of this. It has an electronic sprayer. It's amazing how long the battery actually lasts. But it's inefficient, and it has caused me in the past to keep putting it off. So don't buy these. I would highly recommend you buy this one here, which is the refill. You pour it in the pump sprayer, pump it up. I can go around the entire perimeter of my house without pumping it up a second time. This right here fills it not even all the way full. I give it like 40 pumps, does the entire house, and it's fast. This thing here, the Roundup one, you see it has different settings. Put it on fan setting, and it's wide. You can spray a foot of foundation with every sweep. It's really fast. Yeah, you want to spray like a foot of your foundation, the bases of all your doors and windows. It stops mites from coming in. Here we have earwigs. We have tons and tons of carpenter ants. Yeah, this year was the biggest carpenter ant boom I've ever seen in my life. It was a couple days ago was the biggest. There's still a bunch of them around. Couldn't believe how many flying carpenter ants there were. Even when I went to Walmart, which for me is like 40 minutes away, walking around in the store, the parking lot, everywhere, carpenter ants with big wings, because this is the season they're taking off. I've seen that with the smaller ants, like sugar ants. It happens every spring. There's a giant boom. It's usually only lasts a couple days. Never seen it with carpenter ants, but the carpenter ants, those flying ones will actually attack if you move something with a bunch of them under it. Anyways, this stuff I've been using for years. It works really good, especially with earwigs. I didn't let it happen again. The first year I moved up here, so many earwigs in the house, all over surfaces, and you couldn't leave anything like a bag of chips out. You roll it up, and it goes inside there. It was disgusting. So this, and you can also use this on the inside of your house, like spray along baseboards and stuff. Kid and pet safe once it dries, and they actually make an indoor version of it, but this can do both. Also, the bottom of the wall in the basement, it does a lot. It dries in like 10 minutes, and it's safe for people to return. Same with this one, supposedly. It dries right here in 10 minutes. You can still smell it for like an hour. That's why I wore a respirator today. But certain things this won't kill, so I felt I had to use this instead. So yeah, this right here works really good, but it's very inefficient and it wastes a lot of your time. It says right in here that you should put a large barrier. I think it says 12 inches around your house. With this thing, I overdid it. You can also put it on the edges of your driveway. It keeps ants and stuff away. Great product. I do that about twice a year. This one right here with the electronic sprayer, I believe is about $16 or $18. This right here was $7 something yesterday. Well, obviously not this one, but I did buy one yesterday for $7, the refill. Sometimes the refills come with a little tss, tss, tss. And that, if you got to do your whole house with that, your hands are going to hurt. I've done that before. Your hands will really, really hurt. But I really watch what I put on my property. I don't put a lot of insecticides. I won't put a lot of... The only exception is, for both of these, right against the immediate building. That's the only exception. Vinegar goes around all the gardens, and it did a pretty great job. So, today I gave my new lawnmower that I found free on the side of the road a test today. Really good machine. I love the swivel wheels on this thing. It makes it so easy. It's so easy on you because you don't have to lift up with it. It's very easy on you. It's got a pretty powerful engine. The only thing is it keeps stalling out because it cannot get rid of the debris. With the model number, I'm hoping I can cheaply get a chute for it. Leave it open. You don't want to do that because it can fling things up, not just out. So I did try running it like this with a little gap, but it's still clogged up. So I don't live in a city. I don't have an HOA. I have no ordinances. So I let my lawn grow almost 2 feet tall before I do it. I have a big property that, well, the property isn't big compared to my neighbors, but compared to a city it is. I have about almost an acre of open lawn with tons of obstacles, so it takes me about 4 hours to do it. Even today in the heat, I still did it. Just had to take a bunch of breaks. I won't get a riding mower because I have too many obstacles. Trees I planted because I want this whole yard to be shade at some point. I have trees everywhere I planted. Tons of maple trees every like 10 feet across the whole yard. And also, the only place that's flat is the septic field, which is surrounded by steep edges. Riding mower is not a good idea. But this machine right here is my absolute favorite one I've ever had. This thing doesn't bog down going over 2 feet of lawn, but because the lawn is so tall, sometimes it can just go over it without cutting it, just bends over and stands back up because it never got the chance to hit a blade. Sometimes you just over the really thick parts, got to go over it twice. But because I let the lawn grow so tall, I only have to do it like once a month. So this thing here, I wish John Deere would make things more universal. This isn't even made for this machine. I took that off a Toro, and it fits well enough. But I love this machine, and I actually found an identical one on the side of the road, minus the back wheels are the same as the front. The bigger wheels are meant for going up hills when you have it like that. So the identical one on the side of the road also runs very good, but it's no longer self-propelled because I took the guts out of that one and put it in here to replace that system because it was starting to wear out and strip out. This one's going to need new front wheels. I replaced all the wheels on this about 5 years ago. It has a metal drive gear onto plastic teeth. It lasts quite a few years, especially how big of a property I have to mow. And I think I got to buy new ones. They're aftermarket wheels from eBay and they fit perfect. But in case this thing ever has engine problems, I have another engine I can swap. I can take a lot of parts off of the other identical one. This thing is the only machine I have that barely bogs down. And when you're mowing 2 feet of tall grass, one of the reasons why I did it today when it was 95 out, it takes a lot of heat and sun to dry out 2 feet of grass. Despite how hot it was today, I still went through some pretty moist areas. It just doesn't dry down that deep. And also today I decided the whole septic field, a good area of the yard besides that, probably 100 by 50 area, I'm not mowing it. The whole leach field, I'm not mowing it. Just going to let it grow in with some tall grass, basically a hay field. There's also tons of wild strawberries that I can eat. And animals, it'll attract them to the yard. Yeah, we have wild strawberries, wild blueberries. We have so much cool stuff around here. And never had that in the city because herbicides, people put them on their lawn. Herbicides that don't target grass, but it targets just about everything else. That's what stops it from growing, and I won't put that out here. As long as the yard is green, that's all I care about. I have so many different types of grass. I don't care if it's crabgrass or whatever it may be. As long as it's green, that's all I really care about. So I'm going to let the whole leach field and stuff grow in. In that area, I'm going to start mowing only once a year. You do still have to maintain a leach field. You can't let trees grow on top of it. The roots will plug it up and destroy it if you know how a leach field works. After my sewage water leaves our septic tank, it goes to a leach field with a whole bunch of tubes that go back and forth. Or it forks off and do like a dozen or 24 different tubes. Then it has holes, perforated pipe. It can leak the water through a bunch of gravel that's underneath that leach field. And that's how it disperses it into the ground, where microorganisms can break down whatever bypass the septic tank. The tank is just for sediment and debris so it doesn't clog up the field, if I explained it well enough for anyone that doesn't have a septic system. So yeah, that's a good machine. Despite the duct tape, I don't know what that's all about. It functions perfect. The only thing I wish this machine was a little faster. Even in fastest gear, it doesn't go nearly as fast as this one does. But thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. My front yard sprinkler for that garden's about to kick in, and so there's not a super duper drop in water pressure. I better go shut this one off and reconnect it for later. It'll come on again. Just we can't run more than one at a time because I have a, what's a small residential faucet, 5/8. I ordered a 3/4 inch, which is the bigger, higher flow faucet for residential. Amazon warehouse employee sent me the wrong one, and it wasn't caught until it was installed. So this year I'm thinking about having a plumber come out and put a second one on the back of the house. But this one will just be cold water. That's why I ordered it on Amazon. They don't sell the hot water combination ones in stores for some reason. I guess it's not that common, even though the contractor who recommended it said most new houses are built with outdoor hot water now. It's so convenient, and it's so cheap to do if your basement is already gutted and not finished. A line of PEX pipe from the water heater over there, it doesn't cost that much at all. The guy only charged me like $70 to install it, and that included both hot and cold water lines, because this house didn't have an outdoor faucet at all when I got it. Isn't that weird? A house that doesn't have a outdoor faucet at all. But they had hose on the property I threw out. They must have brought it in from their kitchen sink or something like that. Yeah, outdoor hot water is great for washing salt off the car, you know. If you get a day that's like 35 degrees in the winter, yeah, I'll spray the salt off the car. Make it last longer, doesn't rust out. I bought it just so I'm not dealing with freezing cold water when I'm sponging down a car in that kind of weather. I don't really use it if it's below freezing, except when you see me make those negative 30 degree videos making water vapor from the water heater. I ran a sprinkler last year all night long to see what it would do to my septic field. It left a ice accretion about 1 inch deep. That was really, really cool. And right now it's hot out. I don't use hot water in the summer. That's just a waste of electricity. But hope this little video was interesting, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.